Thank you very much, and I really appreciate the time that you're giving me just to kind of talk about some of the things that is burning in my agenda here as a candidate for mayor. I came to this city when I was 3 years old. I lived in an SRO. My mother and my sister and I lived in that one-room place. We had a shared bath, we had a shared kitchen, and so that's my life experience. And as I grow older and I look back at the city afar from Sacramento, it does pain me that the city is becoming a place where the rich gets richer and the poor gets poor. And at this particular time, in this particular juncture in my life, rather than spending more time in Sacramento, I felt that I have now the years of experience on the Board of Education, the Board of Supervisors, and now in the state legislature, that I want to come back and really take care of a lot of the issues that you and I care about. Let's talk about a couple of things. One, in terms of working families. This city is no longer affordable for those individuals who want to start a family, who want to grow in their particular community. With the recent court decisions, it's becoming more difficult for all of us in government to mandate and require individuals who are going to come in and develop any piece of property to have affordable units. And so when I see that decision 2 years ago, it really made me even more concerned. And so that's one of the things that we've got to do. Finding individuals who are willing to come into San Francisco and to be willing to develop, and having the tenacity, having the commitment to getting them to find ways to increase the affordability of the units that they're developing is absolutely critical. So you cannot be in bed with developers. You cannot be in situations where you're going to write a blank check to developers to make money off of us and not take care of many of our important needs. And we also have to be a lot more creative in finding additional revenue streams to help with those kinds of developments. So, for example, looking at revenues that are outside of these shores is extremely important. Looking at the state to find ways to increase their capacity for affordable housing dollars. We used to have a statewide affordable housing bond that is expired. We need to renew that, and I am committed to making sure that that happens. I think at the local level, we've got to do what we can. So traditionally, we've been looking at GO bonds. We've got to be a lot more creative than GO bonds. We've got additional revenue stream, and having the fiscal discipline to set aside some dollars for a revenue stream of some sort that will then allow us to bond against that amount of money. So a revenue bond will then also provide some additional dollars. So those are the things that we ought to be doing to try and increase that affordability and help our families and other individuals to stay inside San Francisco. One of the critical issues and one of the important issues in our democracy is how do we ensure that our kids are going to get educated, but they ought to be educated in our public school. Public education is one of the leveling forces for not only individuals living in our city, but it is a socializing force within our society in general. Having kids learning about the variety of different individuals that are within our city, within our society, is absolutely critical. And so finding ways to ensure that there is a program for every single youngster in San Francisco and getting them back into our public school is absolutely critical. 25% of our school-age kids in San Francisco are not in our public schools. They are in our private schools. And that is just absolutely horrible as a statistic. And for anyone to not know that, for anyone not to recognize that, is just absolutely not clear about the agenda of San Francisco, and that is we've got to be a lot more inclusive. And so that's something that I'm absolutely critical about our city and our schools, and trying to find ways to make that happen is extremely important. And then finally, as we see more and more things going on in Sacramento, that we've had responsibility for public safety, healthcare, social services, more of that is being realigned down to the local level. So there's tremendous cost pressure on all of us here in government at the local level to figure out what is it that we're going to do, how we're going to pay for that, and how we're going to go out there and provide the revenues for those particular programs. I've had a record of supporting progressive taxes. We've got a bill in Sacramento right now called a clawback bill, that the tax benefits that we give to businesses, that in fact, if the benefits that we give to these businesses, if we don't get a commensurate return for those tax credits that we give, that we ought to take them back. Because why are we giving these dollars, these tax credits to businesses so that they can make more money and don't share that with us? And so having that kind of progressive attitude is extremely important, not only to me, but the core of how I behave in Sacramento. So looking at oil severance tax, looking at, again, taxing the upper income level, looking at increasing revenues for businesses are absolutely critical if we're going to somehow balance our budget and provide the necessary services that San Francisco and many of its residents rely on in order to stay in San Francisco. So those are the reasons why I'm running. Those are the things that I want to tackle, and those are the things that I will continue to fight for, regardless of whether or not I would be here or in Sacramento. So thank you very much.
Thank you.